Welcome to Sports Plus Passion. I'm your host, Bruna Marks. We're about a week and a half into the NBA season. Here are some of the big topics. First, Lonzo Ball. Now, everybody expected him to come out, destroy the court, put up 25 points. Lonzo Ball only put up 3 points, had 4 assists, and 9 rebounds. It's a good rebound number for your first game. He was basically shut down. The person that shut him down was Patrick Beverley. Patrick Beverley plays for the Clippers. He's their point guard. He's a first-team all-defensive point guard. And he talked a lot of mess before this game and supposedly during the game. At one point, you could see him going, "You can't see me," reference to John Cena, after putting up a layup against Lonzo Ball. Now, what I give Lonzo is that he definitely kept his composure for a young player. He's only 19 years old. He came into the game, he never got a tag, he never pushed back, he never did any of those things, which is great, especially when you have somebody like Patrick Beverley, who is an aggressive defensive player. I'm talking about he was about this close to him the whole time, and that's uncomfortable playing basketball when you have somebody on top of you, and that's probably why he couldn't put up the points that he wanted to. Now, of course, LeVar Ball had something to say, and it's kind of awkward to think that somebody's dad is getting interviewed basically every game. You don't really see that much in the NBA. So this is the relationship they're making with the media. It's very uncomfortable, especially for somebody like Lonzo, because he's trying to keep all of that out of his head. He seems like a very focused player. Why does he need his father making a comment every single game? LeVar said he wasn't worried about the game. It's only one game. He'll be fine next time. He did what any other dad would do, I would hope. But his response to Patrick Beverley was a little cynical. It wasn't very appropriate. Apparently, he heard Patrick Beverley cursing at his son on the court. Not sure if that happened. Never received a tech, never was thrown out of the game. One thing that he mentioned, he asked, "Who is Patrick Beverley?" The only reason why people know Patrick Beverley is because of my son. And you could do your own research on Patrick Beverley. The season opener for the Lakers, they lost the game. In their second game of the season at the Suns, Lonzo showed up. He had 29 points and 9 assists. He did also have less pressure. The defense was not as hard on Lonzo as Patrick Beverley and the Clippers were. Lonzo is going to be a good player. The pressure that Lonzo is going to experience from teams because of his father, that is probably going to have a very big impact on him. The next game they play, Lonzo will be matched up against John Wall. His father already tweeted that they're not going to lose twice in the same week because they did lose again after that first win. The Wizards center tweeted back at him, "John Wall is going to torture Lonzo for 48 minutes. What is Lonzo really going to do? Is Lonzo going to confront his father? LeVar is really going to drive his son into the ground. He's a great player, but he has so many distractions that it's going to get to him. Besides Lonzo's debut, super teams are the other huge topic in the NBA. It doesn't seem like the super teams are actually really doing anything different that they did last year. If anything, they're playing less of a caliber than they did last year. The Warriors, they lost their first game of the season by 1 point, and they're the defending NBA champions. The Warriors right now are frustrated. In one of the first games of the season, Steph Curry got fined $50,000 for throwing his mouthpiece at the ref. What? Steph Curry had a temper tantrum? That doesn't really happen. KD also got ejected from the game for using harsh language against an official. And Andre Iguodala also got fined $15,000 for verbal abuse against a ref. Steph Curry did release his statement, and he said that he felt bad about throwing the mouthpiece and it was irrational and inappropriate, which is good for him. This is a frustrated team, and it's very frustrating when you paid all this money to get all these players and you're the defending champions and you start the season out 0-1. It's going to be a tough season for the Warriors. They're still NBA Finals contenders, I have no doubt in my mind. The other super team, the team that lost in the NBA Finals, the Cavs. The Cavs went above and beyond to get their team together, because not only did they suffer injuries last year, but they also lost one of their key players, Kyrie Irving. Most dramatic trade this year. He didn't want to be the little brother to LeBron anymore. He didn't feel comfortable. He was in somebody else's shadow. Great. Good for you. Sometimes you just have to play that role. He's still a young player, so he had every right to be like, well, I want my own team. I want to be the face of my own team. So now he's on the Celtics. But the Cavs benefited just a tad bit more from trading Kyrie. They got Isaiah Thomas, the best point guard last year, hands down. After losing his sister in a car crash, he put up point. He is going to be a force to be reckoned with when he eventually gets off that injury list. They picked up Derrick Rose. They picked up Dwayne Wade. This is not the same Derrick Rose. He's doing his jump away faders. He is getting to the basket. He's doing everything. And he said he feels comfortable in the atmosphere at Cleveland. And not only that, Dwayne Wade, he bought out of his contract at the Bulls to come to Cleveland. Of course, to win a ring. He did it with LeBron before, so he came to win a ring. And LeBron and D-Wade's bromance, I mean, come on. It's adorable. Like, you can't get over it. So the Cavs are looking pretty seamless right now. Despite the fact that they can't play Isaiah Thomas, who was hurt and who they wanted to be their lead point guard. But guess who stepped up? Of course, LeBron James. His first official game playing as a point guard, he scored 34 points and had 13 assists. So the Cavs really don't have a lot of worries. They're going to have some trouble here and there. It's only the beginning of the season, but they're going to the playoffs. If not the NBA Finals, and if not winning it all. Another team who's a real big NBA Final contender is the Thunder. The Thunder lost KD. He left to go to his competition to win a ring. I mean, come on. But that's another issue. He left Russell Westbrook, his bromance partner, and they're no longer bromance partners because KD betrayed him. Russell Westbrook was doing everything he possibly could last year to try to bring his team to the same caliber. He put up 40, 50 points. He broke records. He did everything he possibly could. But they didn't make it to the finals. This year, the Thunder invested. They picked up Carmelo Anthony and Paul George. Huge franchise names. Now, Carmelo Anthony struggled, but he's always had potential. He was just in the wrong place. The Knicks weren't giving him what he needed. Ever since he came to Oklahoma, his hoodie has been on, and he has been hoodie mellow, okay? And he hasn't taken the hoodie off, only to play games. But he is doing his thing. In their season opener, they had 4 players with 30-plus points. 4 players. Some other teams who are also in the talk about playoffs and finals is, of course, the Spurs. They never die. They're not undefeated, but they're doing their thing, and they're probably going to be in the playoffs, as they always are. And also the Rockets. They started 3-0, but now they have their loss. They picked up Chris Paul to get a point guard. He's out 2 to 4 weeks, so we'll see how that generally affects them. But both of those teams are definitely going to the playoffs. The Celtics, they suffered the biggest injury this year. Jordan Hayward. In their first game, Jordan Hayward was expected to be their top player. He's young, he's humongous, he gets to the basket, he's in the paint, he does what he has to do. And that's why he injured himself. He went down on a hard play and broke his ankle. And their pickup on Kyrie Irving, not looking too promising. Definitely has not melted into their system yet. He is not doing what he did on the Cavs. Before he was shooting 46%. Now he's in the 30th percentile. It's going to be hard to see how the Celtics team plays out this year. And last but not least, the World Series. The World Series everybody is excited for because it includes 2 teams who weren't expected to make it. LA Dodgers and the Houston Astros. Let me give you a fun fact real quick. Only 3 players between the Astros and the Dodgers have been to a World Series game. The Astros went to the World Series in 2005. They didn't get a win. So they don't have a title, nor do they have a win in the World Series at all. The LA Dodgers, the last time they went to the World Series was 1988, and they won that time. The Dodgers, they have paid for quite a team, and they are hoping that they get this title. It has the highest paying payroll in Major League Baseball. But the Astros, they have something to fight for, and that's their city, the city of Houston, that was devastated by Hurricane Harvey. Families lost homes, they lost pieces of their family, people died. People are still recovering. They're still recovering from this hurricane. A win from the Houston Astros would definitely lift their spirits. So that's something that they have to fight for. The Astros has the best offense this year, but the Dodgers have the best record, and especially at home. It's going to be tough for the Astros because they have this nightmare in the back of their mind from 2005. So hopefully they don't choke. But overall, this is going to be an amazing series. They're both young teams. They're both excited to be in the World Series. The biggest injury right now for both teams is the Dodgers' Corey Seager. He's their best shortstop. He's only 23. He got Rookie of the Year last year, and he has 22 home runs this year. It's going to be interesting to see if he actually gets a chance to step up and come back from his injury. The most heartfelt thing, Jackie Robinson's family got the chance to throw the first pitch. The whole situation was just adorable. Jackie Robinson's widow, Rachel Robinson, who's 95 years old, and their 2 kids were on the field just happy as ever to be there. Jackie Robinson died October 24th, 1972. So the day that they threw the pitch marked 45 years of his death. Jackie Robinson was the first African American and the first person to break the color barrier in Major League Baseball. And he did it in an amazing fashion. He was an amazing man and an amazing player. He actually threw the first pitch about a week and a half before he passed away. And that was just 25 years after he broke the color barrier. Thank you guys for all your support. Make sure you tune in next week for episode 4 of Sports Plus Passion. Share, retweet, all that. Bye-bye. Holla at your girl.